The Watch 5 Pro, being Samsung's first pro-level smartwatch, has created a different level of expectation of what a pro-level smartwatch experience is meant to be. Having now spent a good solid week with the Watch 5 Pro, I think I'm ready to answer that question. Hi, Ben from SamMobile. If you enjoy new and exclusive videos like this, then be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos on YouTube with SamMobile TV. Here is my full experience review of the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro. My overall thoughts on the design and build quality are positive. For reference, I am using a grey titanium color, and the Watch 5 Pro only comes in the 45mm size with the new debuckle sports band. The Watch 5 Pro is indeed thick, and the most iconic hardware feature, the rotating physical bezel, is now gone in favor of a thicker inner curved bezel. In my opinion, in terms of the looks, it's actually been okay for me, and the Watch 5 Pro still looks great. In terms of functionality, the virtual rotating bezel option is good enough, I would say. At times there is a slight delay when rotating at a certain rate and speed, but overall you do get used to it quite quickly. Now, I'm not sure how it happened, but on the left side of the frame of the watch, it's picked up a lot of micro scratches. Although I do miss the physical rotating bezel, as it offered a more tactile watch navigation with less interruption to the display viewing experience. I'm overall satisfied with the current design of the Watch 5 Pro. Considering the thickness and size and weight of the Watch 5 Pro, I actually think Samsung did a great job in making it feel well balanced, even considering the more curved shape of the inner side of the watch where the bioactive sensor is housed. The design choice is not only for a more rugged look and feel, but for better accuracy when reading and taking measurements. Now, it's questionable whether this is actually the case or not, but we'll touch on that later when it comes to the software experience section. Samsung made a lot of noise about their new debuckle sports band, which offers a quick, simple, and easy fit. Now, this is true in pretty much most cases, as once you find the size that fits you well, thanks to the magnetic attachment mechanism, even when charging the watch, you don't need to unstrap it fully and strap it again like you would do a normal sports band. My only issue is the initial setup of the debuckle sports band and also how it feels on my skin. As someone that pretty much naturally sweats a lot more, it does leave marks, and it's made it very hard for it to stay in position unless I actually use a tighter fit, which in return made it uncomfortable to use. And you know what, it does take a lot of time getting used to in that sense. And be careful of the hinge to unstrap, as it is very sharp on the fingernails. What did help was bringing the watch further down in position away from my wrist. Apart from that, pretty much the debuckle sports band works as intended, and potentially it should be okay for most people. A quick word from my channel affiliate partner NordVPN. As our preferred VPN of choice, NordVPN gives you a secure connection while keeping a fast speed and also access to content in different regions on popular services like Netflix. Use our unique link for your NordVPN plan and our coupon code SamMobile, backed with a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee. Considering we basically have the same specs internally as the Watch 5 and also the Watch 4 from last year, using the same Exynos W925nm chip, 1.5GB of RAM and 16GB of internal storage, when swiping through the OS on the watch and navigating, there is no slowdown and things tick along just fine. I know this watch carries a Pro name, so there might have been the expectation of having double the RAM and storage for the extra price, but you've got to remember, this is a smartwatch at the end of the day, and pushing extra specs for the sake of it, especially in a small physical space device, makes no sense, especially at the cost of battery life, which indeed is far more important to giving a true mobile experience when using a smartwatch. That being said, my favorite part of the performance and usability is 1. How nice the 1.4-inch OLED display is in clarity and touch response, but also their excellent haptic feedback. The haptic feedback alone had me navigating around the watch for the sake of it, and it also made it less annoying when getting notifications from my Fold 4 as an extension to it, as most of the time my phone is actually on silent or vibrate during working hours. Performance is great, and there's no more specs needed even on this Pro watch. As we now have One UI Watch 4.5 running on Wear OS 3.5, how's the experience been? For reference, the Watch 5 Pro is connected to my Z Fold 4 as the main device, with as much information inputted and integrated with Samsung Health. We can't speak for how well it works with other devices outside of Samsung for this review, but we can assume that the best experience you'll get is with the Watch 5 Pro when connected with the Samsung Galaxy device. Looking at the standalone software experience on the watch, as stated before, it is smooth and fast when swiping and navigating through the OS. Notifications are quick and easy to access with good haptic feedback in the software with the hardware. The app grid at the bottom is smooth and easy to access and also rearranged to your liking. Quick settings is as easy as swiping down from the top to access it. And just to say this, if you've used a recent Galaxy Watch before, then you will feel right at home. And even if you haven't, then trust me, controls for the home are very intuitive and easy to learn. The biggest focus for Samsung is, of course, the bioactive sensor for heart rate measurement, blood pressure measurement, ECG, body composition, stress management tracking, blood oxygen level measurement, and of course, sleep tracking with snore detection. There is also a temperature sensor as well that should be new for environmental temperature checks when you're actually around. Now, I've thrown a lot out there, and let's just say some of the features work so well in my experience that it's kind of scary, and some are questionable in how they work. Let's talk about what works well. The sleep tracking with snore detection is what worked really well and actually impressed me, as it was accurate in knowing when I slept and how long for, given a nice detailed breakdown of my sleep stages in the Samsung Health app. Now, generally speaking, I'm blessed that I barely even snore when I sleep, but odd times that I do, it was embarrassingly scary to see how well the Watch 5 Pro picked this up within the Samsung Health app, and it shows you a detailed breakdown of the total amount of time that you snored and also the recording and the times that it picked it up as well. Trust me when I say this, hearing a playback of yourself snoring is kind of both scary and embarrassing, but I do appreciate how well it works on a Watch 5 Pro and also the detailed breakdown of it that gives you in a Samsung Health app. Now, I've not got my sleeping animal avatar rating yet, as it does need somewhere between 7 to 10 days of continuous sleep tracking and rating, so I will report back when that happens in a long-term review. Now, the blood oxygen rating is one measurement I would take with a grain of salt, especially when sleeping, as it can be a bit of a hit and miss. Although there are improvements to the search and typing on the Watch 5 Pro, this is still a small 1.4-inch display. And hot take, this is a hot take, unless I can use a small tip S Pen in some way to type or swipe to type on a watch display, then it's not really something I felt the need to be using on a regular basis. There is always more to cover when it comes to the software experience, but overall, it's actually been very good on the Watch 5 Pro. Straight out of the gate, the battery life and charging experience for me especially was the make or break feature that Samsung needed to get right with the Watch 5 Pro for me to even consider it being a true pro-level smartwatch experience. In conclusion, the battery life experience on the Watch 5 Pro far exceeded my expectations, and as someone who values fast charging, I was very impressed with the charging times from 0 to 100%. We actually did a dedicated charging test video showcasing this, so we highly recommend you give that a watch. Back to the battery life. While the watch was learning my usage patterns in the first few days, I was actually using it in a worst case scenario with the screen time set to a maximum of 1 minute, the always on display enabled, and the auto brightness disabled with the screen at 100% brightness. I definitely wouldn't recommend using the Watch 5 Pro or any smartwatch in this way, but even then, the Watch 5 Pro lasted a solid 3 days before dying out. After doing the full 100% recharge with the battery charging test video that we did, I toned down the settings by dropping the screen time to 15 seconds. I still did use the always on display, and I did enable auto brightness. And at the current time of this recording, the Watch 5 Pro is actually on 30%, and this is 4 days later. I think I can speak for most people when I say that this is the kind of battery life we've always wanted from a smartwatch, and if this means the elimination of the physical rotating bezel, a thicker body, and a more rugged look, then personally I feel it's actually a worthwhile trade-off for battery life. As I'm not really a watch person in general, I'm not sure even with just how impressive the battery life and charging speeds are on the Watch 5 Pro, considering the £469 asking price, that I would personally go out and buy it myself. I do think if you are the person that is suited to, then the excellent multi-day battery life with fast charging and the full integration with Galaxy devices, the Watch 5 Pro makes a solid case for what a pro watch should be. What are your thoughts on the Watch 5 Pro? Let us know in the comment section below. For the latest news in the world of Samsung Daily, be sure to visit us at SamMobile.com. And for the latest videos on YouTube with SamMobile TV, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, and we will see you next time.